Now, in the Naropa commencement speech, you talked about how a graduate might have the experience of looking out at the world as if they were stepping into a vortex that goes endlessly downward to who knows where. And whether it's a moment of graduation or some time of transition in one's life, when there's this sense of being unmoored, what used to be isn't any longer, and the person doesn't know what's next. That can be really terrifying for people.
Yeah.
That sense of void. Yeah. And I know this is something you've looked into very deeply, you've written about
Fear.
a lot. Yeah, and this idea, smiling at fear, your book called Smile at Fear. So talk to me about that. I'm supposed to smile at fear when I'm facing
one of my
the void?
best friends, who's not on a spiritual path. We've been really close friends since college. And she saw that I was doing this program called Smile at Fear, and she said, "Smile at fear. Give me a break, Pamela." It's like, it's like barf practically, So I love these friends who just
talk like it is.
Talk like it is, yeah. So the question actually is how to relate to fear, right? And in this regard, I would like to say that these transition periods where you're groundless, in a nutshell, and that's fearful, are for the spiritual practitioner probably the most fertile ground, because of the fact that nothing is pinned down and things are, the sense of ultimate, limitless possibilities is right there for you if you just kind of turn your head a little bit more to the right, and then you have the sense of anything is possible, as opposed to OMG, what's going to happen to me, So of course that shift in attitude is facilitated greatly by having some way of relating to fear. So as a starting point, Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche talked a lot about fear as being a positive thing. So again, this is having an attitude that sort of begins to get you curious about exploring something rather than just committed for life to running away from it because it's so devastating, challenging. So right away, I start getting interested about this subject of fear because he talks about it continually as a very positive thing. And he says that fear is unlike something like anger or jealousy, for that matter, or craving. Fear is a very open and fluid. It doesn't necessarily have to be narrowed down into something that gives something solid. So it has a very fluid quality to it, which is interesting to just think about. He says loneliness is kind of the same, actually. So fear, when it comes up, can be something that you say, oh, here's fear. Like this is like a quality of awakened mind. This is a quality of open space. Instead of calling it groundlessness or giving it a negative name, you could just rephrase it and call it ultimate possibility, or that this is a quality, as I say, I'm repeating myself here, but a quality of awakened mind because it's unformed and open and hasn't concretized into something that it makes ego feel better. So now, and you can also say to yourself, this is like teaching yourself the Dharma on the spot. You can say to yourself, yes, this doesn't feel good, and yes, my knees are actually trembling here, but I'm going to stay with this. I'm going to explore this. I'm interested in knowing this quality because it is a quality of awakened mind, and it will take me in the direction I want to go instead of back into the cocoon of sheltered, try to get ground under my feet, ego clinging. And so I want to go in the direction of opening further and further. So, okay, feeling fear, this is an opportunity for this. So this is one approach, which is what I call teaching yourself the Dharma, but talking to yourself about how this is positive instead of negative, that it has great possibilities for spiritual growth. And actually to close down is going backward into small world, and this has the potential of opening up into the is yet unknown, much bigger world, where they say, there are smells you've never smelled yet, there are sights you've never seen yet, there are sounds you've never heard yet. Like, what you could experience is so much vaster than what you currently experience. So let's go in that direction.